Hey everyone, Aaron here, and in this video I'm going to pass along a simple little math hack that will make things go much easier for you at the game table. You know, we've all been there in the games that we play, and we've all seen it in the streams that we watch. In the heat of the battle, when we want to be all in with the narrative or the RP or the battle that's going on, we find ourselves instead fumbling around in our minds with numbers and trying to math and making a general mess of things. Sometimes this is because a player or a DM just isn't math-minded, and that's okay. We're all wired differently. Sometimes it's because we are in the heat of the battle. That's precisely the reason why, and the stress and the adrenaline just sort of fogs our mind and we can't do the math like we normally would be able to. This is a physiological effect of stress on us, and we all deal with it from time to time and in different ways. Happens to all of us. But what I often see is players or DMs struggling with the math behind a very common game mechanic in Dungeons and Dragons, taking half damage. Now, when the rolled damage, the amount on the dice, is an even number, there usually isn't much of a problem in this area. The human mind can fairly easily divide even numbers by 2. But odd numbers aren't quite as instinctive to us when it comes to dividing them in half, because the answer is never a whole number. That is, the answer always contains a fraction or a decimal, specifically 1/2 or 0.5. And when it comes to calculating half damage in D&D, we drop the fraction or the decimal, which is to say, we round down. Well, the trick to making this much easier to do when you're at the game table is to subtract 1 at the beginning of the math process instead of dropping the fraction or rounding down at the end of the process. In other words, if the rolled damage is an odd number, subtract 1 from it and then divide the resulting even number by 2. Let's consider an example. Zeldrith the Barbarian is fighting a Minotaur. It's great axe against great axe. On the Minotaur's turn, it manages to crit against Zeldrith, causing 33 points of slashing damage. Fortunately, Zeldrith has already entered a rage, which means that he is resistant to bludgeoning and piercing and slashing damage. So he's going to take half damage. Now, Zeldrith could do the mental math and long division and calculate that half of 33 is 16.5 and then drop that 0.5 and take the resulting 16 points of damage. That's how the math behind taking half damage, or the math behind damage resistance, works in Dungeons and Dragons after all. So he could do that. But it's so much easier to just subtract 1 from 33, giving us 32, and then divide 32 by 2. Which we can all do with relative ease because, again, the human mind can very easily divide even numbers by 2. Either way, we're going to arrive at the correct answer, 16 points of slashing damage. But this math hack keeps you in the moment. It keeps you there in the moment at the table in the heat of the battle instead of having to spend time calculating and thinking and trying to figure things out. And as a bonus, it also helps to prevent what can be very unfortunate math errors that can come back and bite you in the end. So try it for yourself. Just pick an odd number. Pick an odd number that seems like a likely amount of damage that you might take, and see how much faster you can arrive at half damage using this simple trick. With just a little bit of practice, this method will become a habit for you at the game table, and you will wonder why you ever tried to math any other way. So there it is, a simple math hack for calculating half damage in the heat of the moment. I hope you found this helpful. Please consider liking and sharing the video, subscribing to our YouTube channel, and also ringing that bell so that you'll know when we post other videos, which you might also find helpful. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time.